Here we go. So, welcome everybody. What I'll do is just say hi to everyone, and then I'll hand you over to Sue, and then Sue, you can hand over to Sheila.
Great, thank you.
So, yeah, welcome everybody to another awesome Zoom, and we've got a cool turnout today. Yeah, and we've got an awesome guest on, and a lot of you will know Sheila already, and some people are quite new into hypnotherapy that we've got jumping on as well. So it'll be exciting. Yeah, so take it away, Sue.
Thank you, Justine. Thanks for arranging this get together and meet and greet so that people can see Sheila and find out more about this exciting workshop. We've worked with Sheila since 2014. We've hosted her out here with the virtual gastric band and also arranged online workshops for her. But we've, as I said, we've had the pleasure of meeting her in person here in New Zealand. So that's been really great. She is a very generous person with her knowledge, her experience, her bonuses, all sorts of things. And I highly regard Sheila's teaching, her virtual gastric band program, which I did initially. And she came out to teach other hypnotherapists. That changed the way I worked. It also changed my business, and I just absolutely loved it. And I have started working with just 1 week only. She hasn't come back until tomorrow, but the first week for the this new program. And I'm really looking forward to hearing Sheila talk about it tonight. So Sheila Granger, please welcome. Tell us all about your program.
So what I'll do first is I'll get Sheila just to talk a bit about you and things like that. Yeah, awesome. Thank you.
That's fine. Yeah, no, good to be here. And thank you to all of you for hanging out with us for the next however long in your taking up your evening. So thank you, Sue, for the introduction. Some of you will know me, some of you might not. I actually, as of this week, I have done 15 years in the hypnosis profession, and I don't look a day older. Um, I built probably like a lot of people, I fell into the hypnosis profession. I wasn't at school thinking when I grow up I want to be a hypnotist. I actually worked for the government for 22 years as a fraud investigator, so I investigated people who weren't quite as disabled as they claimed to be. It said on the claim form that they're so disabled I cannot cut the food up and put it into my own mouth. But I found them to be quite good on the golf course on a Saturday. So it was my job to kind of get the government's money back. And it sounds really negative, but I think it actually gave me a really good grounding for hypnosis. In that, when we're looking at that, hypnosis is about communication, isn't it? And I used to get people fessing up to all sorts of things, and I was the nicest person in the world to them, So it gave me a grounding. And the other thing, I was thinking about this the other day. I was in charge of what they call the proactive fraud team, and I think this is where it's really served me well. In that, my team had to go out and find fraud. We weren't relying on the next door neighbour sending us a letter to say Joe Bloggs is up a ladder and he's claiming all these benefits. We had to go out and find it. And that's very similar, isn't it, to where we are with our hypnosis businesses. We've got to go out and find clients. We've got to find a way of engaging with people, of raising the level of awareness of what we can do to help them. And so a lot of people know me for Virtual Gastric Band. And what I really loved about that program is not just, that the results that you got with people, it was that it was a game changer in the hypnosis field. It allowed so many people to build, rebuild, launch practices and really put hypnosis on the map for something. Because that's what we need to do. We need to engage the public, and in whatever way we can do that. So a lot of people know me for the Virtual Gastric Band. I say I'm a hypnotherapist and business owner. I don't think the two can be separated. You know, we've got to learn how to market ourselves and to look after the business side of things. Otherwise, we're never going to be able to help as many people or see as many people as we want to help. And I know hypnosis changed my life. You know, in 15 years, I wouldn't have dreamt of, you know, working with so many people, but of also creating a lifestyle for myself, you know, a business on my terms. So we've got to the proactive side of things is really about, which leads us into this crazy virtual weight loss jab program. And, you know, it's a bit like the virtual gastric band. I always say to a client, I know it sounds a little bit like madness, but what I'm going to do is this. And the reason I'm going to do this is such and such. And we kind of get that, let's get that elephant out the room. I know it sounds like it's madness. But, you know, when we look at how we engage with people, and what I say I loved about the virtual gastric band is lots of practitioners got press, publicity. You know, it was in the, all over the New Zealand news. It was all over the news in other countries. It gave something for journalists to talk about. So more people became aware of it. It became into people's level of awareness. And I'm really delighted with virtual weight loss jab. It's already been in the New Zealand news 3 times in less than a month. Because it's given that hook, if you like. So, and, you know, and that's what I find so exciting about it. I've always found, you know, follow the news, what's happening in our communities right now. And if we can hook into that in some way, then more people are going to contact us, you know, more people are going to get results, more word of mouth kicks in, you know, all of those things. So, you know, when we look at, which is why I kind of started looking at the weight loss jab, you know, because it was in the news all the time. And now I could turn around and say, oh, well, I could just do a virtual gastric band and get the same results. Yeah, quite possible we could. Absolutely we could. However, that's not what they're talking about. So let's hook in to what the public are looking at and interested in. Just like we did with virtual gastric band, you know, they were talking about weight loss surgery all the time. So that's why we could get a hook in with that. So it's really kind of what are the hooks that we've got to get the public's interest in what it is that we do, and look at something as a, you know, potential alternative in some cases. So, you know, you hear a lot of the celebrities having, some people describe it as the skinny jab, or, you know, the weight loss injection. And when we look at the facts on that, you know, the research shows that what they say with this on a pharmacological basis is that you could shed over 10% of your body weight. That's what they claim with the actual weight loss jab, 10% of body weight. Well, I don't actually think that's that much. When we think about it, 10% isn't that much. It's not huge. There's other things that people have to follow when they have that weight loss jab, which is interesting. This is why. What they've got to do is they've got to avoid biscuits, cakes, and chocolates. They've got to avoid any fried food. They've got to avoid excessive amounts of alcohol. They've got to avoid any food in high saturated fats. They've got to not have fizzy type drinks that are high in sugar, and avoid energy drinks. Well, if somebody had been doing all those things and they stopped doing them, then we're probably going to get the same result without the jab. It always used to make me think, amuse me, you know, with the actual gastric band surgery, in that often people had to lose weight before they had the surgery. Well, let's think about that then. So if you can lose it without the surgery, why would you go and have the surgery? So, you know, so when we look at what are the opportunities for us as hypnosis professionals around this weight loss kind of injection kind of concept? So we can potentially have a program that can be a potential alternative. You know, some people don't want to fill the body with drugs. We've had people on some of our test programs where they had the jab and it worked for them, but they couldn't continue to take it. We've had people who had the jab, didn't get any results whatsoever, have done this program and have started losing weight. So we, of course, with people with injections as well, although the little like MediPen things that people inject themselves with the actual injection, they're not like massive injections, but for some people that will be enough to put them off having it done because they won't want to do that. So we could have a potential for clients who want the jab but without the jab, if you like. And what we want to do with hypnosis is support some mindset changes that will bring about some long-term success for somebody. Because what people find is when they stop having the injection, the results stop as well. So what if we could change how somebody thinks so that actually that becomes a long-term lifestyle change for somebody? And, you know, the other, obviously, we might have people who want to overcome a fear of needles, but we certainly want to take advantage of the hype. You know, how can we take advantage of something, of the hype around something? Now, can we achieve similar results with hypnosis? Could we achieve similar results as the actual injection? When we think about it, 10% of body weight is not a huge amount. It's not a huge amount. We know that hypnosis can help regulate portion sizes. Done it with gastric band. We know we can help regulate portion sizes. We know we can help with cravings for types of food, the good and the bad. So we can turn down the cravings for the bad. We can amplify cravings for the good, the nutritious stuff. We know we can help increase motivation to exercise. And we can help somebody feel really good without any unwanted side effects. So we know that hypnosis can bring about long-term sustainable lifestyle changes. So in a way, we're doing a little bit more than the jab. Now, the other thing with weight loss is that sometimes with people, calorie deficit on its own is not enough. So, you know, we might sometimes with a hypnosis program have to look at other things. So that might be stress levels, it might be nutrition, it might be sleep patterns. All of what we know impacts on weight as well, or weight gain or weight loss. So, you know, what we really want to do, you know, if you were to develop your own program around this, what we really want to look at is all of those things potentially, and you know, some way of boosting metabolism naturally. You know, how do we boost metabolism naturally? We want to be suppressing appetite naturally. We need to be doing some education around hunger or signs of overeating. So we need some education around that. We need to give some daily dose of positivity. So, you know, there's ways that we can use this concept into a virtual weight loss jab, which is what the program is that I've kind of developed around it, that adds in all of those elements as well. So it's not just, okay, let's just imagine an injection. Because that probably wouldn't be enough. It's a bit like virtual gastric band. If we were just to get somebody to imagine surgery and nothing else, then our results are going to be not as good. We will get some people, you know, some people we work with, you know, who are highly suggestible, are the types of clients, of course, are brilliant for hypnosis, because maybe you could do a one session wonder and get away with it. But the vast majority of people that we work with, we're going to have to put something in that's a bit more of a rounded program. So a bit like the virtual gastric band, the virtual weight loss jab is not about, you know, a one session trick. You know, we've got to build in all these elements to bring about a long-term lifestyle change for somebody. And really, you know, the reason I've been able to, or lucky enough to take hypnosis into so many different areas over the last 15 years is simply because I listen for the opportunity. I listen to what's happening in the community. I listen to what people are talking about. So because of doing that, you know, it's allowed me to go and work in businesses. It's allowed me to go and work in schools and colleges. It's allowed me to work with the homeless. So I'm also a big give back person as well. But I listen out to the opportunities where how can we align hypnosis to this? Because really, I always think, let's take the word hypnosis away from it. It's about how people think. And if we take it in terms of it's about how somebody thinks, then we can go in any area at all. We can align to all different kind of things. So, you know, when we look at, okay, what might be your marketing messages around virtual weight loss shop, and interesting with this, there was a gentleman who was in New Zealand, and he'd taken his foot off the accelerator a little bit with his business. He'd done a lot of clients for virtual gastric band, but things had gone a little bit quiet for him. So he immediately went back out to his previous clients and said, you know, I've got this new program. It's going to address these issues. Some people, you know, gain weight because, and there's a little bit of a fear, isn't there? It's like, oh, if I go back to my previous clients, am I like admitting that what I did didn't work? Dare I contact them? Well, actually, what we're doing is offering them more support. We're saying how things are. So, you know, if you were contacting previous clients, it could be that you say something like, you know, what I find is that some people, you know, may lose weight initially, but something happens in their life and it throws them off track. You know, and this is not unusual. And often all we need is something that's going to get us back on track again. I want to tell you about this new program that I've got as a previous customer of mine. You know, I can offer it to you at this kind of, you know, put some kind of discount on it for them. And that particular person who did that filled his boots with previous clients coming back for another program. As a result of that, one of those people who came back was a journalist, and the journalist did a write-up on it. Double page spread in the paper, which attracted more clients. So it's how we use a concept to, you know, put out more marketing about something that then, you know, starts to have the same impact as virtual gastric banded. And that's all that happened with that. And the same thing I can foresee happening with this. So, you know, your marketing messages around something, you know, when we look at what our marketing messages, you know, it could be quotes from clients. It could be that you send press releases about things, talking about the mindset angle, because there's lots of journalists, health reporters talking about the weight loss jab at the moment. How can we hook into that? One thing to look at or keep an eye out sometimes, if you're on Twitter, there is a hashtag called journo request. Now that is where journalists are actively looking for stories, actively looking for experts on things to talk to. If you've already got, if you've ever had press and publicity in the past, you know, go back to your previous contacts that you've used and let them know what you've got. You could offer to test a program. You know, think about all the presenters, might be radio station people, you know, who are the influencers, could be podcasters, you know, and you can offer, come and, you know, I'd like you to come and test my program for free. Now, if it doesn't work, because we always think, oh, I don't do that, because what if it doesn't work? Well, if it doesn't work, they're not going to talk about it. But you haven't done anything wrong. You're not asking them to pay for anything. So the chances are, if they take you up on the offer, they are going to write about it. They are going to talk about it. So, you know, we can go back to our past clients. We can use it to engage with new clients. We can use it for lots of different marketing messages about something that is very newsworthy and very current. And, you know, you could take an angle of potential alternatives. for people who, you know, the injection isn't suitable for whatever reason. So we will have people who think, oh, do you know, I really want that injection. I really want that magic wand. Because don't we all want a magic wand? You know, our clients are the same. So, you know, you will have people, I really want that, but I can't have it, or I can't get hold of it, or I can't afford it. You know, I don't know what the situation is in New Zealand, but in America, you know, that weight loss injection, it's costing them over $1,200 a month to have that.
I think ours is about $550, I think, a
Yeah.
month, guaranteed 5 kilos loss over 6 months or something.
Right. Okay. So that's
So,
a great thing to start hooking into, isn't it?
Mhm.
You know, when we look at the cost of what we can do compared to the cost of what they're going to lay out for that, it's another kind of marketing message, really. The thing is with our marketing as well is that in 2023, you know, Google want us to be helpful. You know, which is what we should have been all along, really, which is what we should have been all along. But, you know, Google will reward you if you are putting helpful content out there. I think sometimes in the hypnosis profession, what we expect somebody to do is to make a buying decision too soon, without having all the facts, without knowing enough. Whereas if we're putting helpful information that actually talks about both angles, talks about what, you know, if you were to do a comparison thing on your website, okay, so if it was for the weight loss jab, okay, so we've got a comparison. This is what you get with the injection. These are the links to go and have a look at that. This is what you get with hypnosis and what we can do. Then actually, we're being honest, trustworthy. We're not saying, come to me, buy this. We're letting somebody be able to make their own decision based on the facts, instead of just a kind of a buy now message, book now message. And I've always found as well that for me personally, you know, consultations are the thing that work. All I want somebody to do is to take the next step with me. I don't want them to make a buying decision on the website. I just want them to take the next step and book a consultation. And because 9 times out of 10, I know that they'll go on and book sessions immediately. There won't be any quibble on price. There won't be anything. So really, all the marketing should be about, well, how do I get people to book a consultation? How do I get people to take the next step? How do I get people to download this ebook about this? How do I get people to come to this presentation? Because they will naturally become closer to you. Because, you know, if we can put eyes on people all the time, you know, then we feel like we've got a connection with somebody. So I use a video a lot in my communication. If I can't get hold of somebody on the phone when they're inquiring about something, I'll pick up this thing that we've all got, and I'll just send them a video. Say, hi, Sheila Granger here. Thanks ever so much for inquiry. Sorry I couldn't get hold of you. You know, let me know when there's a good time to call, because I want to put eyes on them. I want them to put eyes on me. So I've moved away from that virtual weight loss job there. But anyway, so Sue and I, or Sue is hosting for me a full training on virtual weight loss jab. So if I've piqued your interest today, and I'll open it for questions in a minute, but if I've piqued your interest, then we are doing a full training on Saturday, the 23rd of September, I'm thinking, Sue.
Yes.
Yes.
Sorry, I had turned I muted my microphone and I'm saying the 23rd, but you're not hearing it. Yeah, 23rd.
Yeah. And what on that training, I'm going to cover all 4 sessions. Obviously, you will get scripts. I'm not a script person. I don't think that any of us should sit and read a script, but there are scripts within a program because we've got to have a starting point. So it gives you the ideas. So it's highly customizable for any client that you see. I'll provide press releases to help get you on the map. So I'll help you with your marketing as well and all the different angles. They will also include an element of nutrition, of building up metabolism with somebody, all the elements that I talked about earlier that are necessary to make something work. And I know if you can't attend it live, we are making a recording available. So, and it's actually going to be a full weekend because, you know, I am a marketeer, without doubt, I am. That's what served me business, I believe. Like, we've got to be a hypnosis professional and business owner. And, you know, I'm sure that unless you've been hiding under a rock, you have probably dabbled with AI and chat GPT. You might have got it to write you a birthday song or a recipe, or you know, write a little bit about your business. You might have had a play with it and thought, well, that's a load of garbage that's come out of it. How can I possibly use that? You might have even downloaded a PDF where somebody's giving away thousands of prompts for AI and thought, well, actually, they don't fit with my business and what I want to say. But AI is the most exciting thing that has happened to our profession since the virtual weight loss jab. So it's the most exciting thing, because I don't know if any of you can remember when the internet was first launched. Now, I was, you know, you dialed up the internet on your computer. And those people who kind of grabbed hold of that internet, you know, straight away made the biggest strides in business. It made so many people millionaires because they grabbed hold of it, the concept of it. And AI is so much more than chat GPT. But if you become overwhelmed with marketing, AI is a complete game changer. You don't need to be techie. That's the good thing about it. There's no techiness involved. I'm not a tech person. I hate it. But I do love how when you know how to prompt it in the right way, it gets all your marketing done at least, or at least 80% of it done. You might have to give it a little bit of an edit to what you, to make it work for you. But I've spent the last few months drilling down on the exact prompts to use it in the hypnosis business, specifically for our profession. And it is a complete game changer. So, which is why I said to Sue, well, you know, if we're going to do virtual weight loss jab, we're probably better off doing 2 days, because that way I can help people properly. I'm very much about, yeah, here's this protocol and this will work with your clients, but actually we need to know, well, how do we get ourselves out there? Which is why I said to Sue, let's do a second day on AI. So it's actually a full training weekend. You will get everything that I know, because my goal is always to help you be successful. For your clients to be successful, and for you to be successful too. And then when we keep ahead of the game, it's not just about the protocols, it's about, well, okay, how do I actually get this out there? And if you mix the two things together, you've got a recipe for magic, and you'll be 100 times quicker than anybody else. Sometimes it's about getting ahead of the game with things and how fast we can do that. And AI allows you to be very, very fast in every different aspect of a business. So, you know, we would look at everything. We'll be looking at your Google profiles. We'll be looking at your social media platforms. We'll be looking at your SEO, you know, all those things that people are looking for about education and how we can produce that at scale, in a non-AI way, if you know what I mean. We don't want, oh, that content's just being generated by AI. Does Google mark people down for AI generated content? It used to, a little bit. It used to. Now it doesn't give a shit quite so much, because it knows that it's excuse my language, it's coming down the road. They're not going to be able to stop it. And so, but what Google are interested in is content that is educational, that you are trustworthy, you know, so that it's not, that's why I say we put a human edit on it. That's what people want. They want trust, they want education, they want to be able to draw comparisons, and the more we're transparent about everything, that's what we need to be looking at as a profession. So I've gabbled on then at 100 miles an hour as normal, gone off at a few different angles. But has anybody got any questions? And I hope that's helped this morning, give you some kind of pointers, ideas, things that you could take away and do.
Sheila, I'd like to just ask a question, if I may. I just want, well, I know the answer, but I'll get you to do it. They can attend the 2 days for the training, but they also get a manual for both days. Is that right?
Oh, yes.
And also the video recording of both days.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's a full training manual on, both days, one on the virtual weight loss jab. There's a full and you'll also get training certificates. We're getting logos done to people's websites. You get a listing on my website. There's lots of extra stuff that you will get anyway. And ongoing support, because a lot of the time, especially if anybody's fairly new to the profession, you might go away and start doing some work with a client, and it tends to be then that we have our questions. We can go through a training and think, yeah, I understand that, yeah, I can do that, yeah, I understand that, but the questions tend to come when we're actually going away in the real world, and you come across something and think, oh, okay, that wasn't supposed to happen. What am I supposed to do next? And I do try to make myself as available as possible on an ongoing basis. I mean, there's people on the call who will know that anyway. Stefan, nice to see you. Stefan, occasionally, I'll get a Facebook message, and as he knows, I do come back as soon as possible and try and assist. And so,
thank you for that.
Yeah. So it's kind of ongoing support, because I know it's when people are out in the real world that we tend to get our questions. The AI has a full training manual, and the recording for both will be important, but it'd probably be even more important on the AI, because there might be things that you start going through after the training and think, okay, what was that bit? What were we supposed to do there? And you'll be able to go back over that recording, and you'll see it happening in action on the training itself. This isn't just a me lecturing training. This is okay, let's do it here and now. So you might even have various AI platforms open during the training and be churning things out while we're actually on the call. Anything else, Sue?
Just to very quickly run over the pricing. Sheila is very kindly offering the 2 days for $6.95, although that is only available until I've forgotten what the date is. That is
Monday the 11th.
Yes, Monday the 11th. Otherwise it's $7.95, but there is also time payment available. If you want to do just 1 day, that's $5.95, but time payment plan is available. Get back to me on info@alphahypnosis.co.nz. Over to you, Sheila. Back to you, I should say. Has there anybody got any other questions for Sheila?
Yes, Sheila, I've got a question.
Yes.
With the virtual gastric band, that was clinically trialed in 2010 or 9, I believe. With the virtual weight loss jab, what were the results of the clinical trial, if there were any?
Okay, so that it's too early, if I'm honest, Stefan. I've not make any movements for clinical trial on it yet, because it's still quite early days. What I'm finding, and what the people that have kind of trained with me so far with this are finding very similar results to the virtual gastric band.
Yeah.
With your clients, very similar indeed, because really we're taking a similar kind of approach. So will it work for everybody? Well, probably not. Got to be honest, probably not. Because ultimately not everything will work for everybody.
That's
Like
right.
with any hypnosis we do, you know, it's pointless saying, oh yes, it's got 100% success rate. No, that would be a complete lie. You know, so it's got very similar results to virtual gastric band. And some people say, well, why don't I just do virtual gastric band with people then? Well, you could do. You could. Absolutely, you could. However, when we're looking at what a client has bought into and their belief system, you know, let's say you get a press article about weight loss injection, and your client rings you up and you say, oh, well, I could do virtual gastric band with you instead. You're like, oh, well, I really want that. I wanted a virtual weight loss jab. That's what this article's about. And actually our result could be less. You know, they might not get the same because we've got an aspect of belief and expectation and all of those things that have come into play then. So we've got to deliver what it is that we're talking about. So, you know, if we're going to start talking about this, that is what we have to deliver. Now we can customize. There's things that we can absolutely take out the virtual gastric band program that would be very useful with this as well. Very useful. We may look at regulating portion sizes and hunger education and all of those things. There are things within that will be very useful. But if somebody is brain has been highlighted to a virtual weight loss jab, and they come to your website and it's just showing virtual gastric band, you think that's not what I want. That's not what I'm looking for. Because we've got to look at things from, you know, how is our potential client looking at things or viewing things? You know, the closer we can get to how our potential client thinks, the better our marketing will be, the better our programs will be, all of those things. So I hope that makes sense, Stefan.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
I've got another one.
Oh, it's got another one. Go for it, Stefan.
And so, obviously, with the weight loss jab, you know that they're wanting to go ahead, but obviously their GP has said, you know, this may have side effects, or, you know, for example, if a person's a diabetic, or they use injections on somewhat of a regular basis, even if it is just once or twice a year, how do you go about that? Because obviously you're not using an actual jab, but it's the mindset, because your clients don't exactly know how that's going to occur.
Yeah, so you know, when we did virtual gastric band and we got people to imagine surgery, we didn't go into too much detail about that, did we?
Yep.
So in the same way, we might not actually go into too much detail about this.
I suppose that there's more fears of the jab.
More what? Sorry, fears.
Yeah, I suppose that there's more fears, and I suppose people see it as more medical rather than hypnosis.
Yeah, and that we have got to think about our messaging around that. I know a couple of articles that landed in New Zealand in the press. The way that they were written was written in a way so it didn't upset the medical profession, and it wasn't seen to be medical. You know, because we cannot go along that kind of territory, really. Yeah, it is down to how we're positioning it, how we're explaining something, you know, and being very mindful of that. But then again, that might then give different marketing messages depending on somewhere is. You might have thought, but you've already had injections for this, and this is cause of fear. That's a great kind of blog article straight there.
Thank you.
AI could generate it in minutes for you, Stefan.
I'm sure you could.
No, yeah, no, the AI.
Yeah, obviously,
yeah. But yeah, all those things that you think of, your clients probably think of as well.
So Sheila, what are your thoughts on, because I've done the program, and one of my thoughts was incorporating it as an add-on to what I already do, which is like an emotional release, weight loss program.
Yeah.
And having it like as an optional add-on, or like an add-on, having that as part of it. What are your thoughts on incorporating the different programs together, even gastric band and the jab?
Completely. I think, we all attract clients that are kind of right for us, if that makes sense. So some people I know attract clients who, they've maybe got a whole load of emotional stuff that they need to get rid of before we can get onto that. I tend to attract people who don't really have that. Let's just get straight onto that. But we all tend to attract different people. So yeah, actually having, things that are all very blendable. So it could be that you've got a program where you're pulling on something that you do with emotional release or trauma, something that maybe brings gastric band into it, something that adds on with a weight loss jab. It's all highly customizable, isn't it, to the person? And it could be that actually because we're including a bit of nutrition and improving metabolism, it could be that you might do a 3-part to this program. So you might do, if you've got attracting a lot of kind of emotional kind of release people, we do that. You might have a 12-week program. So we get rid of the emotions. We then regulate portion sizes, so that's where your gastric band comes in. And then when they're going to amplify things with nutrition, metabolism, and using that kind of weight loss jab approach as an ongoing thing for somebody. You can definitely do that.
Sorry.
Was that Andrew? Have you got your hand up?
Yeah. Just wanted to add to Justine's point there, but if you look at the medical model and appeasing the doctors, I've got diabetes. At one time, I was on 4 different things for diabetes. Now I'm on 3. So they don't just use one single approach to deal with one topic. Now, if we copy the medical model, we don't have to use one single hypnosis approach to deal with one issue. So we can put the virtual gastric band, the virtual jab, and anything else together in the same package. And it's exactly what the doctors are doing, except we're doing it with hypnosis. No difference.
Yeah, completely.
So it's not hard to sell because we're copying the medical model.
Yeah, completely. No, good point, Andrew. Really good point.
That's exactly what I do with what I've done with the virtual gastric band program. I thought that was a brilliant program, but over the years I've added to it, I've extended it, and I've now got a 12-week program. I teach them things like self-hypnosis and anchoring, and I teach them life skills as well. And yeah, it's been really, really great. I'm really excited to see what I can do with this one.
When we look at our marketing as well, one of the things, especially, I know that in New Zealand, you're probably no different to anywhere else in the world, that, you've been hit with interest rates, with inflation, cost of living rises, there's certainly some people with less money in the pocket and less money available for things. So probably now more than ever is really important to have different levels that somebody can access help from you. So you will have some people who, you could just promote a 12-week program, higher price, you're getting more, per sale, if you like. But you will also have people who cannot afford that, who actually we could offer something at a lower level access, so they're still getting some help. Some of those people on a lower level access will then become interested in your next level up and your next level up. But we're not expecting somebody to make a huge financial investment immediately if they're a bit cautious about that. So having kind of the in marketing terms, the bronze, silver, gold, ascension kind of model approach. Having something, be it an ebook or something people can grab, you know, having a 4-week program or a 3-month program, or you know, having those different levels where people can access, they decide their level of spend with you. We're giving them the options of what to do. So that's, say, especially with cost of living, it's a which we probably should have all done it anyway, but it's a smart move to do. Rather than we're saying to people, yeah, it's this or nothing. It's this or there's no help for you whatsoever.
I totally agree with you there, Sheila, and we've discussed this as well. And I've already started to implement that into the different levels, starting them with the weight loss jab, and then, you know, I've got the next level up. And one of the reasons why I originally extended my program to, I think it was 6, then 8, then finally 12 weeks, was that I personally deal with more mature women, 45 upwards, sort of generally. Most of my clients are that, and a lot of them were thankful for that extra support, and it, you know, has helped me keep them on, or it helped them stay on track by having that regular weekly accountability and everything. So
Yeah.
I think, you know, and it was going really well. And then of course the financial situation and credit crunch came, and yes, so this I see as, you know, doing exactly what you've just described, and making it into 3 different levels, and they can take it as far as they want.
Yeah. The other thing to probably give a nod to as well is kind of our social responsibility. You know, when we're seen to be a business that kind of gives back on some level, then again, people are more drawn to us. We seem to be more trustworthy. You know, but we can actually use it. You know, it's important to be genuine, but we can actually use it from a marketing perspective as well. So, you know, if you're specialising in weight loss, then okay, what are you giving back to the community for that? It could be that, you know, you're recording pounds lost, and matching pound for pound with a regular donation to, well, here in the UK we don't have food banks. Oh no, the government don't want to admit to that. No, we don't have people who need to use food banks. What we have is community pantries. So it's a food bank, but you know, they call them community pantries. So, you know, you could decide a local one to you that's regular donations, gives you a continuous feed on your social media of this week's donation. People start, you know, pound for pound weight loss. You know, the message you're putting out, well, actually all these people are losing weight then, aren't they? Because, you know, you're giving these donations. You know, so it doesn't have to be massive, but, you know, you're doing something to impact and help your community. You know, that's what we're about. We're about helping people. So how do we help our communities? And I've always found by going out to help with no expectation, just a genuine offer, it always amplifies the business, always. And even if it didn't, well, we've done something good. We've done good in the world, haven't we? So yeah, so think about, you know, you could have, you know, if it wasn't weight loss that you did, it could be that you nominate a charity of choice for the year. That somewhere that you'll do, you know, so many pro bono sessions, or you know, think about, you know, what if you've got a niche speciality, well, what would be a good charity that you could help a little bit with? Now, it doesn't mean we're giving up a day a week, or, you know, it's on your terms, really, but actually aligning with a charity can be another kind of quite a smart move for your business. I don't know if some of you, some of you might have known about the event that I did for the homeless that ended up on BBC. And that was simply, again, I listen, and I'd heard somebody talk about the fact that what stops the homeless getting back into society a lot of the time is their confidence. So I thought, well, I can't do anything about homelessness, but I can do something about confidence. I can maybe impact on that. So I decided to put on a VIP day for the homeless. Now, I did it through a charity. I didn't take a bus around the street picking homeless people up, because who knows what you might have got then. We don't put ourselves at risk or anybody else at risk. So it was a charity who were already working with these people. They already knew them. They could select people. And I put on a full day. A local hotel gave me the room hire for free. I got a clothing company who would donate new clothes. I got a celebrity hairdresser who would come and do makeovers for them, beard trims, haircuts. I got a couple of inspirational business people who had started their business while they were homeless in their car. I got a recruitment company who would help them with, or what skills have they got to get back into the workplace or work experience. And I did a couple of big things on confidence. And on the morning of the event, I got a call from the BBC who had said, "Oh, we've heard you doing this event. Is it okay if we come along and film it?" I guess it is, yeah. I guess that'd be all right. But at the end of the day, we were going out with a plea to businesses to give them some work experience. Not give them a job, that would have been a step too much, but just to give them some work experience. And we got about 45% of the people who came a work experience placement.
Well, great.
And it cost me nothing apart from my time. Fortunately, say all these. In fact, actually, I think I did pay for the tea and coffee. But all the other businesses put in and drew together for this. And it was just a really nice thing to do. It was a brilliant day. They were great people. They were really, really good fun. So, listen out to what's in your community and how can we genuinely help. We've got such a brilliant skill set of, making a massive impact on people's lives. And sometimes we do that for free. And that's okay too. I'm all about running a business, don't get me wrong, but, what if we could be a bit of a Robin Hood? We give to the people who cannot afford it, and we charge the people who can afford it. We've got to strike that balance somehow, haven't we?
Very true, Sheila. Very true. I just wondered, I'm aware that we're getting on for the hour, and I just wondered if anybody had any other questions or whether people would you like to wrap up now? And anybody? No, nobody's got any questions.
I've got a question.
Everyone's got a question.